Hi, intuitive viewers. Welcome. I am really excited. I get ready for some fun because I just feel like we're going to have a fun time with our guest today. I have Toni from Shamanic. Oh, no, I'm sorry. From Shining Hawk Healing. I always want to say shamanic and I don't know why. Shining Hawk
I'm
Healing.
a shaman.
I was going to say that it comes in later, but yeah, that's exactly right. So welcome, Toni. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And I already know that Toni has the patience of a saint because we've been trying to do this for a long time and she's been so patient. We kind of got, connected before I went to England. And then I had all that. It was just kind of a long drawn out ordeal. And she's been so kind and patient. I was on her channel and now she's here and I'm just so glad she's here. So
I had so much fun when you were on my channel. It was so great. And my husband was like, oh my God, she's so great. Oh. And he never does that. He never does that.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you. Well, now, Toni, just for those of you who don't know, she's a shamanic Reiki master teacher. That's how you kind of describe yourself. And you're also a tarot card reader. And you also read in a different way, which we're going to share at the end, which people can watch you do. But I wanted to ask you a couple things before we read together. One is that I noticed that on your channel in the beginning, but also on the channel when you on your description at the end, you kind of put a little thing about gratitude, that you hope that people are living in gratitude, something to that effect. And so I just wonder, it seems like you lead with gratitude. So what part does gratitude play in your channel, but also just you as a person, your everyday life? What part does it play for you?
It was gratitude for me is really, I had to really sort of learn the whole, learn sort of when I came into this work, I sort of had to learn how to be grateful because of how I grew up. I grew up in a very, very religious community, and it was very structured. And I didn't feel like I fit in there. But when I left that place and I moved into what felt good for me, and healing and meditation and going inward and all of the things that a shaman would need as far as tools and things are concerned, when all of that started coming sort of to me, and I went to it really sort of brought the whole concept of gratitude out for me. And I'm grateful every single day for all of the signs and signals that my guides have sent me over the years. And because it's for a long time, I was lost and sort of out at sea about where I belonged and who I was and all of that. So this work has really brought out a lot of I say on my channel, walk in beauty, walk in peace, walk in joy, and walk in gratitude, because I think that if you can see the beauty, even in something that's not so beautiful or not so great in the moment, if you can really sort of shift your vision and try to look and see what the lesson is, that's where the beauty is. That's where we find it. And then have that grateful energy come through you, and you feel that, and that really just like touches my heart, and it makes me feel like I'm doing the thing that I was sent here to do. I mean, I felt like for the last 4 years, I was sort of watching everything. I was the witness, and now when I'm just going to say it, when Trump left office, I felt that was the time for me to move into this space of healing. We're not exactly there yet because people are still in a really big state of fear. And it's hard when you're in fear to see anything else. So I'm waiting and I'm watching, and I am, I'm just gathering energy, and I keep sending it out. And what I get back is just so much it's so amazing. I just love this work. I hope that explains it. But yes, being
I can see
grateful
it. I
for
can see it on
everything.
you. I mean, you wear it. You wear it. That you're in. You live in grace. I mean, really, that's where you are. That's the place you are now, and you can see it. So I'm
I've
so glad that
accepted it.
I'm so glad that you are. Yeah. And it is an acceptance, right? When you realize what you want to do or the part you want to play in the world, it does take, you do have to come to a place of acceptance for yourself, and then you can go out and do it. Once you've said,
And
okay,
share
what
it
I'm going
and
to
share
do,
it.
then I can.
Yeah. And if
Absolutely.
you allow, like today, I was a little, like I had to go to the doctor and go all the way to, way far away, because we've moved out so far away from the doctor. It's just like, it's hours to get there. So, and I was just like, oh gosh, but here we have peace, and it's not as hot as it was over there, and here we have space for the dogs, and so I just had to pull myself back from that frustration about the time that it was taking me to get there, and knowing that here, when I get back here, then I can just be who I am, and and enjoy the place where I am. But sometimes we get over our skis a little bit, and we start thinking way far out ahead and going, oh my, this is not going to work, or that's not going to work. But just bringing yourself back to that grace and that place of allowing and acceptance of who you are and where you are, and all of the things that are working for you, and not necessarily all the things that are not working. So.
Right. Well, and that's a perfect example of using an everyday thing, and applying your spiritual practice to it. I try to do that as well. I mean, sometimes I just get frustrated and I can't help it, but but a lot of times for me, it's standing in line. It's something I don't like to do. It's something I get impatient with. So that I always know that when I'm standing in a line, that's where I can practice my spiritual practice, because that is where it gets to where the everyday little things get to me. But that's a perfect time, for people to practice your spiritual practice, get into that mode of acceptance. And like you said, gratitude, acceptance, whatever that is, to kind of lift you out of that vibration that starts to go, yeah, I don't like this.
We get so frustrated in our lives, in our daily lives. And we sometimes forget to, look at that tree, because I can see that tree from my window, and I go, oh, look at that beautiful tree. And, it's a little lopsided, but it's got beauty, it's green, and it's, and it allows me to look through it and into the sky. And I just, just the little things, those are the things that are going to sort of raise your vibration and bring you back into a gratitude space. So, yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. And these things they're here to make us, draw on that deeper, better part of ourselves. Right. I remember there's a quote by, I think it's Ram Dass, that says, if you ever think that you're so spiritual, you can't get any more spiritual, go spend a weekend with your parents. I think it's true. It's like, and then those little things will come back to you, but they're all around us all the time. And so I think people feel like we should just be floating around, but no, it's a constant effort to stay.
It really is
raising that vibration when it starts to, and you can feel it. And
Ram Dass, I actually got a chance to hang out with him one night.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he was amazing. He was so cool. So cool. And just an amazing spirit. He's just glowed. He had a glow about him. And it was amazing. He was so awesome. Good.
Well, that's great. I mean, when you get into the presence of people like that, it's kind of like it's an honor, and yet it gives you something to aspire to. We can all be that. We can all get there. It's a reminder that we can do it too.
If I can do it, you can do it.
Exactly. Human being, exactly. So I wanted to kind of ask you. You write about on Medium. Do you still have your blog there, or your writings and on Medium?
I do have my stuff on Medium, but I had to take the link off because I sort of had a problem with YouTube, and so I sort of had to. And they don't tell you what's wrong when they don't tell you what you need to fix. So you just have to go through and try to figure it out. So it's not there right now, but I am going to put it back once I hear from them, and I'll put the link back on my channel. So yeah,
after we talk about the story, people might want to read it for themselves. But can you talk about this adventure in the desert that you had? I mean, the whole time I'm thinking, I would never do that. I would never do that. I've never been camping, Toni. There's nothing in me that wants to have that experience, but it's incredible. I mean, to read about it and to think of the courage that it took and the amount of faith it took to be in that position. So talk about it a little, just tell people about this experience and kind of what it meant for you.
So I was in New York City, right? I was in New York City, and I had been seeing this bird, the flaming bird everywhere. Like it was like, I'd see it in picture form. I'd see the name Phoenix. They would, the bus would pass by and Phoenix would be on the side of the bus. I'm like, why am I seeing this bird everywhere? I went to the post office one day, and there is this guy behind the counter, and he said, have you been to a sweat lodge? And I said, no. Why are you asking? He said, well, you should go to a sweat lodge. So that was just one of my guides talking through him, right?
Right.
They were telling me that I needed to get to a sweat lodge, but in New York City, there are no sweat lodges, right? So my husband and I, we were in the process of deciding to move to California. So once we made that decision and we actually got here, then I went looking for a sweat lodge. Right. And there's a place here called Lake Shrine. I don't know if you've ever been there, but if you go in, it's a beautiful garden, and it's just like fountains, and there's a little lake there, and they have little benches for meditation, and it's so peaceful and so beautiful. So I walked through there one day, just by chance. And in the shop at the end of the walk, there was a huge phoenix bird, a statue in the store, in the little shop. And I'm like, what is happening? What is happening? So I looked up sweat lodges, and I decided on one in Pasadena. And I started going there, and the woman who was leading the lodge, her name was Lynn Starflyer, and she took me on as a student. She, I did the sweat. It was amazing, and I just wanted to keep going back because the people that were there were so just amazing and open, and their lights were just so bright, and it was just so like mind blowing. So I went to the sweat lodge, and she took me on as a student. And the first thing that we had to do, the first ceremony we had to do, was called Night on the Mountain of Fear. And it resonated with me because I was all about fear at that time. It was a fear of this, fear of that, fear. So I was just afeared of everything. And so I thought, well, this is probably going to be great for me. Scary, because I've never been camping before. I'm a city girl. I'm originally from Chicago, and then I moved to New York City. So camping was not, Girl Scouts, that's not camping, because you stay in a building usually. But, being on the ground in a tent by myself, no, never. But I did it. I got in the car and I drove out to Joshua Tree, and I met the girls who were going to do their ceremonies. Not everybody was doing the same thing. Some people were more advanced. So everybody had their thing to do. So we set up our tents and everything, and we were supposed to fast. We were fasting. So I was hungry, and I was scared, and I was tired, and all of that. And from the drive, and we were told to go out and find our sacred space in the desert. I'm like, what? by myself. I have to go out by myself. It was very scary. And so, long story short, everybody can, if you want to read the story, you can. But long story short, I found my place. I set it up. We went back. We got our final instructions, and then we were sent out. And so I went to my space and I set up my circle of protection. And it started to get dark, and I started to get really scared. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to sing, because that's what I do. I'm a singer. So I just started singing, and it's a desert. So I thought I can sing as loud as I want. Started singing and was just singing. And then I saw these two lights, and they were sort of bouncing into my direction. And I thought they were the police, what do you call them? The guards,
or something.
the rangers, whatever.
Yeah.
I said, oh my gosh, I'm singing so loud. The rangers are coming. They're going to make me go back to camp. And so I stopped singing and I just watched the lights, and I saw them sort of bounce towards me. And then one shot up in the air and just went across the sky. And I was like, holy moly, what just happened? And then the other one just kept coming. And I said, oh my God, I moved all the way to California to be abducted by aliens because I couldn't.
That would be my first thought too. Nothing else explains it, right?
I was like, this is crazy.
Oh
and so the light got closer and closer and closer, but it stopped. Not that far from me, but it was just an orb. It was just an orb of light. And I thought, okay, well, if this is going to happen, what can I do to stop it? So I just sat in my circle of protection, and Lynn, she gave me her, I gave her my ring. She said, give me something of yours and I'll give you something of mine so that I can check on you during the night so that, I can see whether you're okay. So I gave her my ring. She gave me this little jade frog. And I'm sitting in my circle, just rubbing this frog, calling, Lynn, I'm in trouble. Something's happening. I don't know what's happening. So she didn't come. Needless to say, she didn't come.
Right.
And I sat there all night, so scared. I watched the light watched me. And then I just prayed, and I just said, if this is it, this is it. And, sending, positive energy to my family, and, sort of just accepting where I was, because I was like, this is the most scared I've ever been in my life. So, after a while, the birds started singing. Wait. After a while, I started seeing these lights coming down from the sky. They were just like so close. It was like the stars had come down from the sky to be closer to me. And I immediately had the feeling that these were my ancestors. These were my people. These were the people who that light went to tell them that I was finally where I was supposed to be, so that they can find me where, I don't know. This is what came to me about it. So, I mean, I don't know. I could ask you if that's what it was.
You have to, that's a perfect example though of how you have to trust those instincts when you get stuff like that, when you just feel like, I don't know how I know, but I know this is my ancestors. I don't know how I know, but I know this is, trust it. That's exactly.
So they were there and they stayed with me for the rest of the night. And then the birds, I started hearing the birds, and I knew that, the sun was going to come up soon. So I started to cry. I just started crying. I was bawling. I was just, I cried so hard. I just felt like I had found my place, that this was the defining moment of my life, that I had figured out where I was supposed to be. I finally found myself. which was, you know, because I was so lost before, I didn't know what my purpose was. Thank you. So that's the story. And when I went back to camp, I was like, I was calling you. You didn't go. She was like, I checked on you. You were fine.
I'm sure I was.
yeah, I wasn't fine. And then she gave me my spirit name. And my spirit name was Shining Hawk. And that really explained why I had been seeing the phoenix in all of these places, because that was where I was supposed to be. That was me. I was seeing me. If that makes any sense at all.
It does. No, it does. It absolutely
crazy.
does. And and that story encompasses so much. I think that story is so relatable in the even though it's an extreme, right? You're in the alone in the desert, in the dark, and all of these things happen, but it encompasses, fear, surrender, surrendering to just where you are and what's happening, and having some faith, and then also being so in the moment and aware of what's around you and what's happening, and then taking that on board and taking it with you. So where did that lead you? What happened after that experience? What did it start to, what did you notice in your life? What kind of momentum built to where you are now?
I noticed that that things started to happen, that, I was just sort of put in situations and places where I would meet people who were there to teach me what I needed to know. Mm-hmm. So, I went from going to my sweat lodges to going to a woman who had this boutique down the street from me. I went in her store for some reason. She had really beautiful jewelry and stuff, and she was a beautiful artist. And she did classes on painting, and she was a shaman. She was a shaman and a Reiki teacher. So she's the one who was my Reiki teacher. She taught me just about being a shaman and what that entails. And she took me on pilgrimages or what do you call it? Now I'm nervous. I can't think.
That's okay.
Just things that she took me on, like Yosemite, to go to Yosemite and do
like retreats and stuff like that.
Yeah, retreats and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she just taught me so much. And then, from her, I met, another teacher and then another teacher. And, my teacher, Tonis, who is just amazing. He is a plant medicine shaman. And he's just so knowledgeable about it that I recommend anybody who is looking to learn that area of shamanism that they look him up, because he's fantastic. He's amazing. And so it's just like, I just started meeting people, it says when the student is ready, the teacher arrives, right? Mm-hmm. So I just had all these people sort of come into my life and just start teaching me what I needed to know so that I could move forward. And, I stall sometimes, but I still try to keep their teachings in me, and always try to pass the information that I know along so that I pay it forward.
Right.
So.
That's great. I love that. And so can you then, so you're practicing Reiki, and you are moving into that space. What made you make the leap to doing a channel? Because it's different, when you're working one-on-one with people, it's a very different energy than when you put yourself out into more of a public, anyone can see you, anyone can. So what made you do that, and how was that transition for you?
I was afeared.
Yeah, I know. I was scared too. I know that fear. I really do.
So I was, like I said, I was looking at YouTube, watching the readers on YouTube really helped me during the last 4 years, because it really sort of because it spoke, you guys spoke my language, and I really put my faith and my energy into what we do. So, watching people like you and Linda G and, people who have a real connection, that kind of really helped me stay sane. And I felt like I wanted to, pay that forward. And I wanted to also be there for the healing part, because everyone has been in so much, fear based and in, an internal turmoil about where we are in the world and what's going on. And so I felt like now's the time when he's out of office and people are, it was before the January 6th thing.
Right.
So I was like, oh gosh, okay. So that was a step back as far as the fear thing was concerned. So I felt like this was the time that the healing part of what we do can come into play. That anyone who needs to talk to someone or get Reiki treatments or use a shaman to help them move into a better place, or find pieces of their spiritual life that they may have sort of let go by the wayside or whatever. And I just wanted to be here and available so that if somebody needed that, I would be here to provide it. Because I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is just where I just naturally moved into. But, who knows where the channel is going to go in the future. But for now, I'm just here in case someone needs to get a chakra reading or get a Reiki treatment or find out, where the pieces that they may have lost in the process of all of this turmoil and everything, to sort of try to pull it back together. So that's just me. I'm just trying to be available and help, all that I can. Then that's my only intention. And I'm really hoping that it resonates with people. So.
And I think it does. And I think healing is a perfect word for your channel, because your whole countenance is so calming, and it does you do wear a healing on you, I think. And I can usually and I don't think I'm especially, and then I can usually identify healers because there's something about their whole countenance once they get into healing that they wear. It's something that becomes, you can see it or you can feel it. There's something about it that you do wear it once you start doing Reiki or you start being a healer, because you really can. You can feel it when you watch your channel.
Thank you.
So yeah. So I think that's a perfect a perfect explanation for why you started the channel, because it makes perfect sense for who you are, what you do, but also where the country is moving. Because I agree with you, we're going to be moving into this place of healing. I feel like we're still uncovering a lot, and we're still traumatized, to be honest. I think a lot of people I have not been able to get into the healing space because we're still experiencing trauma, and every time we'll say the former guy, every time he spouts off or comes out, it triggers us again. It re-traumatizes us.
Exactly.
Like once we can get out of that and move out of that, which we will, we eventually will, then the healing can begin. And I think you're absolutely, spot on with what you're saying. Absolutely. So I agree. Well, let's read on something. Do you want to read on something together?
Okay, let me see what my cards.
Okay. Get all your tools. But I thought we could read on the January 6th commission.
Oh, okay.
Maybe just kind of where the energy around it, where it's going.
Okay.
I'll kind of tell you what I'm picking up on, and you can do the cards however you want. And then I wanted to I wanted you to introduce the wheel that you use to the viewers. So we'll kind of do that last, but let's go ahead and read on this because
okay, let me get my cards. I don't
okay, yeah,
think
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, got them. Okay, January 6th.
Okay. And I'll just say this is recorded. So if what happens, but I'm already seeing subpoena. I know they've said they're going to be doing subpoenas, but I'm telling you, they're going to be sending out subpoenas. Because I'm just seeing one after the other, and I'm seeing like money attached to them, like fines. Like if you don't do this, you're going to get fined. I feel like that is the road they're going to go down. I'm just seeing money attached to it, and I'm picking that up as like, if you don't do this, you're going to pay. They're serious. There's some seriousness behind this.
They are serious. They are serious. And they are, I mean, like I see, wait, let me just pull the one last card here. Oh, yes. Okay. So yeah, I see that. They are very serious. It's their expression of truth. This is all them, you know, with you said subpoena. That's this. This is the truth and the expression of it. We want the truth and we're going to get it from you. Yeah. We're going to get it. And yes. And if you don't do it, you have the decision, make a decision, do, you know, like you said, or be fined. Yeah.
And the decision is like, it's like you have a decision, but it will have consequence. You know, whatever decision you make will have consequences, good or, you know, good or bad. But they're I'm just feeling like it's this feeling of like, there's no place for them to go. It's kind of like, it really is a rock and a hard place, because I feel like if they testify their base, everybody's going to be angry at them that they've, you know, kissed up to Trump and the base and everything. And if they don't, they're going to be, they're going to look like they're hiding something, but they're also going to be hit with the law and fines. So they really have put themselves in a very, very tough position. And I just feel like the fear that's going to be in with each subpoena, with each decision, it's just going to be fear, a lot of fear. But I don't feel like they have no wiggle room. It feels so confined to me. I feel it does feel like a rock and a hard place, but they put themselves there.
And the guides are just saying, if you were more spiritually aware, then you wouldn't have been in this place, you know, just, you know, maybe check in with your guides. But you know, we know what that story is all about as far as guides.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Yeah, it's sad. It's very, very sad. And it's very aggravating, because it feels to the not normal, but to the average Joe out here in you know, in the United States, that, well, I don't know how everyone feels, but I know how a lot of people feel that they are not being treated the way we would be treated if we had done the same thing. You know, they're being treated with more kid gloves and allowing them to have more time to get their stuff together, get their story straight. All of that stuff has gone on. And
you're absolutely right, because I'm getting chills with that. And I think what this is about too, it's not only exposing the truth about January 6th, it's exposing the truth about the system and exposing the truth about the way power is constructed in our country, and the way the unfairness and the injustice of on multiple levels. It's not just the level we're looking at with just this one day. It's gonna expose the truth about all these layers of injustice.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And it just feels like, I mean, I feel like I know that what the feeling is that we are moving into a new sort of level of awareness. It's just that it's the avenues. There's so many avenues, so many paths and they don't all converge into one. It's just like, they're just like this. It's tentacles going in so many directions that it just seems like it's a long way to go, down the road before we actually feel like the country is actually the vision that we've all been told that it is, the land of the free, home of the brave, and I have no problem with the home of the brave, because we are brave. We are, humans are brave, in their own way. It's just when power and money get involved in anything, it becomes corrupted, and all of those tentacles start going out. So it's hard to pull them back in and tie them in a knot.
Right. Well, and I think of all the ways that we're being, we keep talking about this shift, right? This shift in vibration, or shift in the spirit energy, whatever you want to call it. There's a shift going on. And the reason that this is true, especially in this country, is because look at all, like you said, all of these different avenues that are happening all at once. The Me Too movement, the social justice movement, the voting rights movement, all of these things are, and then we have the whole thing with the Supreme Court and dark money and all. It is like, and then not only that, then on the, if that's not enough, we've got the coronavirus and our healthcare system that's being put on display, the awfulness of, how it's so crazy. And we're going to have, we know that after the coronavirus, we're going to have all of these people in bankruptcy because of our healthcare system. It is a rolling thunder that's happening throughout the country. And it's like, and I feel like it's, like I've seen this vision before, but I feel like it's like our guides and our angels and our source energy is saying, learn, for goodness sake, learn, because this is just a rolling thunder. And we didn't even get into climate change. It's all around us. And it's just like, this is just going to keep on coming until you guys learn that you're all one. You're connected. Until you realize you hurt the other, until you learn that lesson, and about love and forgiveness and all these things. You've got to learn this. Otherwise, we'll keep rolling, but this is going to keep happening.
And that is the thing, what you said, and I got chills from that, is like you said, the learning and the forgiveness, because that is what it's going to take for us to get to a place where we feel the peace. We feel like when we were kids, how, the world was a good place, because the sun came out every morning and we went out to play, right? But it's going to take forgiveness. And it's so hard, especially because we're so polarized. And forgiveness is hard just on a day-to-day basis, right? But you look at what's happening in the world and you think, how in the world will we be able to get to that place of, forgiving the people who did what they did on January 6th? We have to get to that place. And I know we have to get there. I'm not there yet, but we have to get there. And I'm working on it. And I work on it every day, because I know that I have to, if I want to see it, I have to be it. So I have to be forgiveness for whatever it is. I'm saying I'm sorry for whatever it is. Please forgive me, because I know that we are all connected. So I have a hand in all of it. So I'm forgiving not only you, I'm forgiving myself for the part that I unconsciously play in this play that we're in, that we're all starring in.
We're all starring in.
We're all starring in, all the world's stage.
Exactly. Well, and so Toni, I'm going to ask you to kind of show the wheel that you have, that you use in your readings. I think it's so fascinating. And you were saying it kind of has an indigenous history, I guess you'd
Yeah,
say.
an
Um,
aspect. Yeah. Yeah.
and you kind of
It's
have incorporated your own stuff, and just kind of explain what it is and how you read it. And then just do the in January 6th commission like you would on your channel, because I think
okay.
it's fun to see how you do this.
Okay. So this is the wheel. And this is called the medicine wheel. And it represents the 4 directions. And the yellow is the east, of course. And then you have red, which is the south. And this is where we are born. This is where we live our lives. This is where we are just a thought. These are just in the east. It's all about creation. It's all about thought and ideas and goals. And so when we have those thoughts, they move into manifestation in the south. And this is where we have our successes. This is where we have our failures. And then we have to go within after we've lived those thoughts and those ideas and those goals. We go within to find the wisdom of what we learned whilst doing those things. And once we have that, we commune in the north with our ancestors and our guides and our angels. And then they put their spin on it so that while you're sleeping, and then so that when you rise in the morning, when the sun comes up again, then you have new thoughts and new ideas and new goals. So that's what the wheel is all about. And when I read the wheel, I start in the east because everything starts in the east. And so that when I read, I use these little chakra cards that I found on Etsy. I love these little things. I mean, they have little keywords here, but sometimes I just look at the color. Green is usually a heart chakra, right? Red is a first chakra color. And so then we go into the 7th chakras and the 7th chakra, and they're like different shadings of each color. So when I shuffle the cards and let's look at the January 6th commission and see will they be successful in getting the information that they're looking for. So I go to the east because that's where all things start, and I pull compassion. So we've already seen the compassion that people have for the people, the Capitol Hill police and the people who were injured, the people who we have compassion for them. We also need compassion for the people who stormed the Capitol. So that's the idea of it all. Then we move to the south where things become real and things become things. And that is emotions. So immediately we're having a lot of different emotions. We're all in our feelings about what's going on. And so the people in the commission, I know that they want to have compassion for what's happening, and maybe they do have compassion, but they are also very upset about it. Everybody's upset, and people want to get to the truth. So that's what's happening in the physical.
It's so interesting too, Toni, because both of the events of January 6th and the commission are both really led by emotion. That those two things are that's what really got them into motion, was that. So it's perfect that it's in that physical space that perfect. Yeah.
So let's see. So when we go to the west and we look within, there was this energy. It says sexual energy, but what I get from it is that it was a base energy that sort of came up, and it wasn't necessarily organic. It was manufactured. So it was, it was hot. It burned hot, and it pushed all those people into the Capitol, and things went wrong. So that energy is very explosive and very, it creates. This is the energy that creates, and you need so much energy push through so that
Right.
you could create something. So they pushed into the Capitol. And so now we're all looking within. We're at the West. So the commission is looking within to find out who started this thing, who was behind it, who was involved, who did the dirty deeds.
Yeah.
So we're looking at that. And then we move to our angels and guides in the North, and just to find out what they have to say to the commission to use their psychic abilities. Because what I'm getting is, not everybody's going to get up there and actually tell the truth. So it's going to take a lot of detective work, psychically, physically, mentally, all of that. It's going to take a lot of detective work to figure out who was involved, why, and who paid for it. And you said earlier there was money.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's coming into play. So
and how much they have to rely on their intuition just in how they question. And and who they even call, the subpoenas they send out, that it's not only just looking at the facts, it really is trusting that gut instinct of, well, we don't have anything on this person, but I'd really like them to come in here and talk to us. So
yeah,
and you can see that with, especially with what's his name? I'm trying to think what is
Adam
his name?
Schiff?
Adam Schiff, yes. Perfect. Adam Schiff, with him, I always feel like he's connected. There's something about him that does seem connected in some way, because he's spot on with so many things. And I know sometimes he doesn't know that for sure, but there's something inside telling him that. So I know that there are people that are going to be on that committee that are connected that way. And I think Nancy Pelosi's connected too. I think she has. And so I think even
when you were
choosing
saying
the right
that,
people.
I said that Nancy Pelosi's name came into my head, and I was like, yeah, she's connected.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, well, our lips to God's ears.
God, please.
And let's start healing, because we've had enough.
Let's get to the healing part. Thank you.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Toni, for being here. I'm so glad that we finally got to do this.
Yay!
And we're here. Yay. And it was so fun. So I hope you'll come back and talk to us. So tell people where they can find you and what things you offer. And so tell them.
Okay. So you can find me on Shining Hawk Healing on YouTube. And then you can contact me through ShiningHawkShamanicReiki at gmail.com. I am putting together a class. I wanted to do it earlier, but the puppies, and I got puppies.
Oh, puppies. I understand.
So that threw our schedule off a little bit. So I had to push stuff back I was doing this art class that I wanted to introduce so that people could sort of paint their sacred space. Go in from just having no idea what it looks like to putting it on the page, so that when you look at it, you frame it, whatever you want to do with it, you look at it and it's someplace where it's just for you, and you can transport yourself into that picture, or just have it there as a reminder of this is where you go. Because when I heal, that's where I go. I go to my sacred space, and I have my sacred animals, my brown bear and eagle, and my spirit horse, and the the waterfalls, and it's just so beautiful there.
I love that.
I love it. And going there, and I always see ancestors there. I have a little waterfall, and there's a lake there, or maybe it's the ocean. I don't know, because there's a dolphin in it. I don't know, but it's like a place where you could just have whatever you want, and invite
Right.
all of your ancestors and your guides and everything to come and be with you there. And that's where you can get answers to questions and things like that. So that's the class that I'm putting together now. And
That's awesome. I love that.
and so that's what I'm doing. And just, trying to be there for whoever needs me.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Toni. And you're there for us. I feel that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I will
Thank you so much.
talk again soon. And thank you, intuitive viewers, for hanging out with us. My room has gotten darker, but that's okay.
I know, mine too. It's
Fine
dark
with
outside.
that. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.